here, and then I'll call the meeting.
So like, who rally is tried, you can get the whole town in there.
I think I'll close the door too.
Derek, how much do we actually spend for it?
Oh, you asking the hard question.
Like 46
I'm sure they're active.
Is it that easy?
They're tight.
I'd like to call the October meeting of the County Board to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome any visitors we have here this morning, and I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Zuber. Bruner.
Here.
Farnham. Heltzley. Lorenzen.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Voigt.
Present. We do have a quorum, so we will proceed with the meeting. I hope everybody realizes it's farming season and something about making hay while the sun shines. So, next on the agenda is minutes for the September 6th, 2016 special meeting, and for the September 14th, 2016 regular meeting. I assume you've all had a chance to take a look at those. I'd entertain a motion from the board to approve those minutes as submitted by the clerk.
So moved.
Mr. Lorenzen moves. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Patrick seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Thank you. Claims against the county. Again, you have had those in your possession for a few days. Assume you have taken a look at it. Do you have any questions about the claims presented to us this morning? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve those claims.
So moved.
Mr. Bruner, Mr. Patrick, in that order, moved and seconded. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Thank you. Again, county board member claims, they're included in your packet. Are there any questions about those items? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Mr. Lorenzen, Mr. Patrick, in that order. I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now we come to the pardon me, the portion of the meeting allowed for public comment. I'd like to remind all visitors that might have statements that they'd like to make to the board that we allow 5 minutes per person. If there are questions that you need answered, we'll be happy to answer them after the meeting, or you can talk to the appropriate department heads, etc. So, are there any public comments, please?
Good morning, my name is Robert Bogue. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I'm an Edgar County resident. This morning I want to talk about the airport project. Today, our country, the residents of our country, are currently $20 or so trillion in debt. This debt will never be repaid in our lifetime or that of our children or grandchildren or subsequent children. That is, if our country survives the massive debt, which is now 105% of our GDP. The free money that so many are convinced exists is nothing more than our country borrowing money that we cannot afford to borrow, and in this case for something the Edgar County residents do not need. There are consequences for uncontrolled spending. Just as the enemies of our country seek to destroy us by bombing, there are those just as content to ruin us with debt we cannot live with. I stand in Illinois today. Illinois is billions of dollars in debt. We are not current on our obligations. We cannot pay our budget. We do not have a balance, and we do not have a plan for paying back all this borrowed money. There are consequences for uncontrolled spending. The automatic funding the automatic funding of the unwarranted airport project by Illinois represents 5% of the project, or about $60,000. It is an unnecessary burden for our state. It is borrowed money. This action undermines the future, our future in Illinois in so many ways, and at the worst possible time, when our finances are in ruin, just as the enemies of our country seek to destroy us by bombing us. As I said, there are those that are just as content to ruin us with debt we can't live with. The federal government, the state government, has spent itself into obliviation, and our county leaders appear to be helping them along and even joining in with them. Edgar County owes hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have a jail in desperate need for replacement we can't afford to replace. A very expensive school we just purchased that has raised the real estate taxes for everybody. We have greater needs for law enforcement because of a drug culture. And an unwarranted airport project that does little to address the real needs of the 6 aviators. The 6 aviators, these are the pilots with planes at the airport. Or those of the Edgar County citizens, a wasteful boondoggle of a project for 6 local aviators and 6 airplanes. $1.28 million wasted for something this county doesn't need, and that our aviators don't need. A larger apron isn't needed for our local aviators' aircraft. Additional taxiways aren't needed for local aviators, and there's plenty of unused concrete at our airport for their aircraft. Our airport doesn't have fuel sales or sufficient use to justify any need for a $1.28 million airport project. Our guys, our 6 guys, will keep on flying regardless of this project. Now look at, many of you county board members are businessmen. I cannot see any one of you taking $1.2 million out of your pocket to fund any improvement in your business for 6 customers that have a declining need for your services. You don't sell 10,000 gallons of fuel a year for each fuel quantity. That's a pittance of fuel consumption. You don't have the air traffic. This is just a waste of taxpayers' money. I ask that you folks think of the money you spend as if it is yours. We buy what is needed to be purchased. Our aviators in Edgar County need 24/7 access, go ahead, 1 minute, to fuel. That can be done for less than $20,000. We all know that. It's been a need that's been out there for 10 years. Why not do the right thing? Why not this county ask the airport to use the $20,000 they have in their account to purchase their credit card machine, and the county save the spending of $40,000 of its own money, and then not go to the state and ask the state to spend $60,000 of money they are going to borrow? At some point, the debt we have incurred will destroy us. And I'm asking you folks not to contribute unnecessarily to that debt. Please bring a halt to this funding project, this $1.28 million, and you can do that. You can table your zoning until the zoning actions represent all the needs of the Edgar County residents against.
Your time's up, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. Sorry.
Good morning, John Kraft. I talked to you a little bit yesterday at the other meeting yesterday morning about the airport zoning. I reviewed the video from the zoning commission hearing, and the zoning board, the 2-person board, did say that they would have another hearing with 15 days notice, publishing the proposed ordinance on the website. I'm asking that still happen. I know that somebody's going to talk to the state's attorney this afternoon about the ordinance. I'm hoping that it gets posted online. Additionally, during that zoning commission, they had laid out on the table the airport plan from several years ago, and they told the people in the audience that the county zoning would do nothing the FAA is not currently doing. Now, if you look at the top sheet of paper, there's 2 or 3 miniature pages of a letter signed by IDOT. And on the bottom of page 1, it specifically says it should be noted that the FAA cannot prevent erection of any structure near an airport. The only way to do that is local zoning. So the zoning commission will, and the ordinance will do things that the FAA and IDOT are not currently doing. Because it will restrict the heights and prevent erection of structures. So I'm asking one more time that they have another hearing after proper notice on the website. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Kirk?
Thank you, Chairman. I would encourage everybody to listen very intently to some things I'm going to share this morning. In 2011, when we identified our dispatchers had not been certified, that was a wake-up call to me. I think it was a wake-up call to the county. That problem got fixed. We later found out 911 was not certified. That problem got fixed. We have an ongoing problem with 911 and some incidents that I understand Carl's probably in the field. He'll appreciate where I'm going with this. Some of you may recall that we had a deputy that was killed on a domestic call back in the 80s. In today's environment, you ask any officer, domestic calls are probably some of the most dangerous out there with what's going on with our police and things of that nature. We had a domestic call in Kansas. I FOIA'd the tape. I was told no. I FOIA'd 911 for the tape, which is a separate public body from the sheriff's office. We pay her $1,500 to be a FOIA officer. We're well past due, not a word. It was a domestic call. According to our sources, the dispatcher took the call and notified her sister that the police are on the way, stop beating your boyfriend. That's intervening in a police action by a dispatcher, and it's not the first time it's happened in this county. Now, I don't see the sheriff here, surprisingly, but I'm telling you folks, when these calls come in, I don't want to be the ambulance showing up to these scenes when a deputy is told it's a wellness check, and they go in there not prepared. They're there to see whether somebody's okay from a wellness standpoint, not expecting it to be a domestic case, and come to find out somebody's wailing on somebody with an axe or holding somebody at gunpoint. But that call came into this county 911, and on very good sources, from within, was circumvented by our dispatchers. And from day one, our past board, Mr. Keller, the state's attorney, all said we can't fix it because the law wouldn't let us do anything to that 911 port. We got the law changed. We gave you the power to do it. Everybody here reappointed, the vast majority of those same people have been on that board for years. I am begging you, you have got to change what's going on with your 911 system, because it's only a matter of time before I'm on another ambulance call and we're going to look back and say, I told you so. I'm begging you, take some action and leadership and fix that problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing. Augie, I mentioned it briefly this morning. You've got to get with your IT people and post your agendas in 48 hours. This one wasn't posted Monday. And it's been an ongoing problem. Again, this is not the first time it's happened. Please take some steps to fix that.
Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll go on with the next item on the agenda, which is the highway resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign amendment number 1 of the preliminary engineering service agreement with Hampton, etc. for CH8 section 16-00131-00BR. Did you want to say anything about it? You explained it to us Monday morning. Does anybody have any questions of the highway engineer?
I get the 30,000 foot, 15-second version of what that was, since I missed.
The action was pretty short.
Whatever you can do, your best effort, Aaron, just keep it succinct.
The box culvert on Horse Rock Road, when we initially started that project, we looked at 7 or 8 different alternatives, moved forward with a couple different designs, eventually settled on a design 3 or 4 months into the project. And the consultant who put the professional service agreement before the county board 3 or 4 months before we went through half a dozen alternatives was directed to go ahead and finish the design. And this is an amendment to that original PSA, professional service agreement, to pay them, to compensate them for the time that they lost working on alternatives.
Got it, thank you.
Do I hear a motion to approve that resolution, please?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moves.
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Brunner,
Yes.
You need to call my name too this time.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes. I did that because that way there's 4 and a majority of the board have voted to approve, okay? Next item, resolution of approving oath and bond of Maurice L. Waller, Commissioner of the Union Drainage District Number 8 of Buck and Embarrass Townships, County of Edgar, State of Illinois. Do I hear a motion to approve that resolution? Mr. Lorenzen moves. Do I hear,
Second.
Mr. Patrick seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes. Next, resolutions from Joseph E. Meyer, our tax agent, authorizing chairman to execute deeds of conveyance for the following parcels. Both of them are in Brockton, and the first parcel is 050626484001, and the second parcel is 050626484002, and we are conveying, somebody is paying these off, and so we are moving them out of our trusteeship. So, do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Mr. Bruner moves. Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Are there further discussion? Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Voigt.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is to make appointments to the Edgar County Board of Health. The terms are as follows. Oliver Smith, July 1st, 2019. Cindy Belt, July 1st, 2019. Dan Bruner, July 1st, 2019. And Dr. Jason Graham would be July 1st, 2017. Okay? Yes, sir.
Comment. This is the first time we've done this because in the past they have had like all new members at one time. So we thought this way we'd have some members that would be on there and then new members come in. That way we wouldn't have a whole new board at one time. So.
In other words, we're doing staggered terms like
Right,
we do
staggered
with,
terms.
with other boards
Right.
for
We thought
continuity.
it'd work out better that way.
Right. Do I have a motion to approve these appointments, please?
So moved.
Mr. Lorenzen and Mr. Patrick, seconds. I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we'll move on with the officer department head reports. Tom, I'm going to switch sides of the room. How are you today?
Great.
What's going on?
No news, business as usual, really nothing to report.
All right. Aaron, do you have anything for us?
Just for Derek, we did finish up the Healing Stick project and the Vermillion Road Cold Mix now. Those projects are complete. Major bridge was seeded Sunday, so we're wrapping up.
Okay. Dina?
Just we're about to wrap up the 2016 year, hope to balance and sign abstracts next week.
Okay, any questions? Sandy?
I have nothing to report, sir.
Jill?
Nothing really. We're still working on our intergovernmental agreement with Paris Fire. We're just waiting back to hear from the state's attorney.
How are things working out with the hours?
Good. I started last week.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right, we'll keep us posted. Jeff?
Nothing to report, just summer whalers are coming back, hibernate for the winter.
Jeez. All right. Augie?
Well, really, the only thing I'd like to report is that we've been extremely busy with early voting. Terry looked up for me this morning. 4 years ago at this time, we had voted 67 early votes, and this election, we are at 251. And that doesn't include, how many have we sent out? I mean, we have well over 100, maybe 200 that are still out, absentee ballots. So a lot of interest in this election. We are extremely busy. So if there's any questions for me, please ask.
No dead people voting.
No one's told me that. They haven't come forward. And the only thing I want to end up with is it is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So wear your pink and encourage your loved ones to go get checked.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Committee reports from the board members. Mr. Bruner?
I don't have much. We do have a new dog feeding bow at the animal shelter, which
That's what I'm talking about.
It'll just break.
no, okay. Other than that, the health department, I haven't talked to Janet for a while, but I think the new dentist is starting, I think, this month or next month. The other dentist that we have is also staying for a while to help, so,
Transition.
yeah, transition, yeah, so.
Okay.
Other than that, no problems.
Andy?
I told at Monday's meeting, but for everybody else, we're moving along, putting condensate pans under all the existing air handling units in the courthouse. We had a couple of units that failed last year and this year, and caused a lot of damage to the ceilings and because of water leaking down. So we're putting these pans under as kind of a precaution to keep that from happening. We're also installing, one of the reasons that happens is the drains that are presently in there kind of snake through and then dump out on top of one of the porticos. And by nature of the small amount of water that drips out during the summer in the hot air, that hot air hits that water that's running real slow and it molds and plugs up the drain. So what we're doing is we're putting condensate pumps that actually connect straight to the sanitary sewer, and we'll do away with the pipes that go outside, that run outside, and it will actually be kind of like a sump pump in a basement. It fills up, pumps out. They also have fail-safe systems, so if for some reason the water level in those sumps gets too high, it automatically kicks off and you get in and fix it before it leaks and causes the ceiling damage that we've had on a couple. So they're in the process of putting that in now. Hopefully within the next week or two they'll be done with that. And that's about it right now. You want to swing?
No.
That's all right.
I was asking about the clock tower, not working.
Short of getting a big crane in there, which is extremely expensive.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Derek?
So last Friday, we went up to Springfield, the chairman and myself, along with the advisory committee chair, talked to the managers of the programs, for airport projects. No material changes there, so we'll just keep proceeding on. There will be a zoning meeting between the state's attorney and the zoning commission chair and myself this afternoon to finalize pieces of the zoning project. And that's about it.
Any questions? Okay, as far as what I have, you might have noticed that Mr. Cherry isn't here, our treasurer, but you did receive the different accounts. We have not, we're early on in the month and we haven't received a lot of the state funds yet. We'll also have a distribution going out to all agencies on Friday, and it will bring our distribution, I think, up to about 90%. There'll be another distribution after the tax sale, usually bringing us up around 99% of distribution, just so you'll know. We talked about the budget on at the study session, and we're on course. Obviously, there's always areas of concern, and there's areas that are doing very well. But all in all, we should end the year well. We also talked about the new budget and the levy, so we'll continue that discussion at the next study session unless you have issues that you would like to talk about now. I will send out some information on payroll so that you will have it and understand where the health insurance has left our folks in relationship to take home and et cetera, so that we can make some decisions about increases for our employees. Any questions? Yes, Dan.
I think Monday morning there was, maybe I misunderstood, this comment made about the airport spending $150,000 a year, but I was looking on the last month, according to this, it's $46,600. We actually spend $150,000 at the airport every year?
No.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood the comment. That was
We
made.
may this year. I don't know, when you look at
But this is
large
previous year.
repairs, the budget, I can't remember exactly how much, the budget is about $80,000 a year.
All right, I just
Okay.
maybe misunderstood the comment that was made, but.
Okay. Anything else, gentlemen? I don't believe there's any need for a closed session on any of the issues. I don't think the state's attorney has requested any. Derek will get some information for us so that we can proceed with the other issues. You've been notified about a couple of lawsuits, so onward and upward, as they say. I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Mr. Lorenzen moves, Brunner seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
I get the treasurer report.
Auction up.